Foreign ministers from 5 European countries issued a joint statement condemning Israel's recent decisions regarding control over Gaza City, warning that these actions will worsen the situation and further escalate tensions in the region. The foreign ministers of Germany, Italy, the United Kingdom, Australia and New Zealand said in the statement that the Israeli Security Cabinet's decision issued last Friday will exacerbate the humanitarian disaster in the Gaza Strip. They pointed out that the decision threatens the lives of detainees and also escalates the mass displacement of Gaza's civilian population. Five people, including 2 children, died in the past 24 hours due to starvation and malnutrition in the Gaza Strip. The Palestinian news agency reported that the death toll from famine and malnutrition in Gaza has risen to 217, including 100 children. Families of Israeli soldiers captured in the Gaza Strip have announced a full economic strike next Sunday in response to the Security Cabinet's decision to prepare for the occupation of Gaza City, which they say could endanger the captives' lives. Speaking at a press conference outside the Israeli Ministry of Defense in Tel Aviv, the families said on August 17th, starting at 7 a.m., we will shut down the country to save the soldiers and hostages under the slogan, "Silence kills." We are shutting down to the country to save the hostages and soldiers.
Dear President Trump, I'm an American citizen, and so was my son Ben Zussman, who was killed in a battle.
Israeli peace activists disrupted a live television broadcast last night to protest the escalation of the war on Gaza. During a voting segment on the program Big Brother, several young people wearing white T-shirts with the slogan "Leave Gaza" jumped onto the stage and staged a sit-in. The activists repeatedly chanted, "The people demand stop the fire," as security guards carried them away. The organization Standing Together, which campaigns for peace between Israelis and Palestinians, claimed responsibility for the protests. Several European cities, including Stockholm, Amsterdam and Pristina, witnessed massive demonstrations denouncing the genocide and famine facing Palestinians in the Gaza Strip and calling for an end to the Israeli assault. Protesters condemned the Israeli government plans to occupy Gaza and displace its residents. Swedish activist Sienna Medar described what is happening in the Strip as the most horrific thing she has seen in her life, criticizing her government's silence and calling for sanctions on Israel. Speakers also criticized the continued support of Western governments for Israel despite the massacre and starvation in Gaza and urged the International Criminal Court and the International Court of Justice to take urgent action to end the war and open humanitarian corridors. The UN Relief and Workers Agency, the UNRWA, confirmed that Israeli forces continue the heavy bombardment of the Gaza Strip and are expanding their ground operations, resulting in deaths, injuries, destruction of civilian infrastructure and the displacement of large numbers of residents. The UN agency explained that civilians are living in inhumane conditions, seeking shelter whatever they can, including in damaged and destroyed buildings, overcrowded shelters and open areas. Thousands of pro-Palestinian demonstrators filled the streets of Istanbul protesting Israel's ongoing war in Gaza and calling for an end to the bloodshed. Earlier in the day, Turkey's foreign minister urged Muslim nations to unite in opposing Israel's latest military plans to seize full control of Gaza City. Speaking from Egypt, he confirmed full coordination with Cairo and said the Organization of the Islamic Cooperation had been called to an emergency meeting. Thousands have marched in solidarity with Palestinians, condemning Israel's military action in Gaza and calling for urgent international response. Protesters banged pots and chanted "Stop the genocide," urging governments to sever ties with Israel. Among them were human rights activists and people of Palestinian heritage. Demonstrations come as global outrage grows over the worsening humanitarian crisis in Gaza, where nearly 2 million people have faced repeated displacement in the last 22 months. Israeli Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich has threatened to call for early elections in protest against Thursday's Security Cabinet decision to take full control of Gaza City, saying the move is not enough. According to Israel's public broadcasting authorities, Smotrich made the threat during last Thursday's cabinet meeting, telling Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, "As far as I am concerned, we can stop everything and leave the decision to the people." U.S. network CNN criticized Israel's plan to occupy the Gaza Strip, saying that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is pleasing no one with the plan except himself. The network said that the Israeli Security Cabinet's vote to expand military operations and seize Gaza City on a plan proposed and pushed by Netanyahu himself reveals more about his internal political maneuvering than about any comprehensive military strategy. The Israeli army reported today that sirens were activated in the Gaza envelope area. In a brief post on its official page on the X platform, the army said the matter is under investigation. Meanwhile, Yedaot Ahronot newspaper reported that sirens were heard in the settlements of Nahal Oz, Kafr, Gaza and Sad following the launch of several rockets and shells.